The Pakistani Prime Minister's eyes welled up with tears as he expressed gratitude to China. This victory came at a great cost, and it was at this moment that they truly recognized who their real friend was. After the ceasefire agreement was reached, the Pakistani Prime Minister delivered a national address, thanking global leaders and various countries for their support during the period of heightened tensions between Pakistan and India. The Pakistani Prime Minister declared that Pakistan had achieved a major victory in this conflict. In Shahbaz's speech, he spent a considerable amount of time highlighting and expressing his gratitude to China. Shahbaz said that his speech would be incomplete if he didn't mention China. China is their extremely close and trustworthy friend, and he sincerely wanted to convey his heartfelt gratitude to China. Shahbaz also stated that throughout Pakistan's 78-year history, whenever Pakistan was in need, China was always there. China never calculated gains and losses and firmly supported Pakistan, safeguarding its integrity. In a nutshell, what Shahbaz wanted to convey was that without China, this victory for Pakistan would not have been possible. Sticking close to China is the key to maintaining victories. When the Prime Minister thanked China, tears glistening in his eyes demonstrated his sincere appreciation for China. Without the support of China's weapons and equipment, Pakistan would not have been able to secure this victory, and India would not have accepted peace talks so quickly. Peace talks are the result of a hard-fought battle. If Pakistan hadn't won an overwhelming victory in the air combat and inflicted heavy losses on India during the counter-attack, India would not have readily signed the ceasefire agreement. India indeed paid a heavy price, and Indian soldiers no longer wanted to continue the fight, as they realized that India had no chance of winning. China has been extremely benevolent and righteous towards this old friend. Last year, we once again postponed the repayment of a $2 billion debt owed by Pakistan. In the eyes of Pakistan, among all countries in the world, only China, as its creditor, would do such a thing for them. Pakistan is a populous country, but it is also a poor one. According to World Bank data, nearly 40% of its 240 million population lives below the poverty line. Last year, the country's inflation rate soared to 40%. Although it has dropped significantly, it still hovers around 20%. For Pakistan, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is like a panacea for reviving the country's economy. This plan will completely transform Pakistan's economic landscape and establish all the elements of a modern industrial country. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a flagship project of China's Belt and Road Initiative, with a total value of up to $62 billion. Under this plan, a flagship seaport, numerous power plants, and a network of roads across South Asian countries will be built in Pakistan, bringing over 2 million job opportunities to the country. However, in recent years, due to the impact of the pandemic, Pakistan's domestic economic difficulties, and frequent incidents targeting Chinese workers, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor once came to a halt. On May 31, 2024, at the meeting of the China-Pakistan Joint Cooperation Committee on the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, both China and Pakistan jointly proposed the development plan for the second phase. 5 new corridors will be built to make it more in line with Pakistan's economic development framework. Moreover, Pakistan will reduce government involvement and strengthen partnerships between the private sector and Chinese enterprises. In fact, there are different opinions on China's active assistance to Pakistan. Many people think that such efforts are not cost-effective, believing that Pakistan's poor land will not bring us returns, and that the money invested is like throwing it into the sea. But this view only takes economic factors into account and ignores political and security aspects. In reality, building a better and stronger Pakistan will bring unimaginable returns to us. From a security perspective, the energy transportation line directly connecting China's Xinjiang with the port of Gwadar at its center and established through railways and roads will help us get rid of our heavy dependence on the energy route through the Strait of Malacca. Especially in times of war, once the United States joins hands with Singapore to blockade the Strait of Malacca, this energy route between China and Pakistan will become our lifeline. From a geopolitical perspective, Modi has entered his third term. The Bharatiya Janata Party he leads has lost its dominant position in the lower house. It can be foreseen that a weaker Modi will be more easily controlled by Western countries. We have also noticed that in recent years, India seems to be distancing itself from Russia. This signal is of great significance. India may become the most significant strategic partner for the United States to contain China in the Indo-Pacific region in the future. Therefore, we must assist Pakistan to suppress India's ambitions. An economically powerful Pakistan will play a crucial role in curbing India. In conclusion, I believe that in the next stage, economic and trade cooperation between China and Pakistan will deepen further. With the profound changes in geopolitics, such cooperation may even expand to other fields. Interestingly, when Indian Air Force Lieutenant General Body declared at a press conference on May 11th that several Pakistani aircraft had been shot down, the ambiguity in his tone was as thick as the clouds during the South Asian monsoon. He was reluctant to disclose the specific number of aircraft downed, nor was he willing to take the risk of making speculations. Moreover, he was unable to provide any evidence of the wreckage. He merely tried to fob off the audience by claiming that Pakistani aircraft had not entered Indian airspace. One might wonder, if Pakistani military aircraft had not crossed the border, how could Indian missiles manage to strike them from afar? Is it that the radar data is falsified, or does India possess some sort of black hole weapon? This contradictory logic inevitably reminds us of the India-Pakistan air battle in 2019. Back then, India claimed to have shot down a Pakistani F-16, but it became an international laughingstock when the United States intervened for verification. History has a way of repeating itself. The baseless claim of shooting down this time once again exposes the Indian military's disregard for the scale of modern warfare. After all, the wreckage of warplanes is the most intuitive physical evidence in an air battle. What's even more interesting is that when journalists pressed for details, Lieutenant General Body simply replied that their mission was to hit the target, not to count the number of enemy casualties. This rather Buddhist approach to battle statistics would even make ace pilots from World War II shake their heads in disbelief. The essence of modern air warfare is the overwhelming advantage stemming from technological disparities. According to open-source intelligence analysis, the Rafale fighter jets deployed by India this time were equipped with Meteor missiles. Meanwhile, the J-10C fighter jets of Pakistan, armed with place-to-15 missiles, have a range of over 200 kilometers. If India's claim that Pakistanis did not cross the border is true, it means that the Indian military had to complete the interception at the edge of its own airspace. This would, ironically, maximize the range advantage of Pakistan's place-15 missiles, turning Indian fighter jets into easy targets for long-range sniping. Even more intriguingly, Reuters quoted a US official's testimony stating that at least 2 Indian fighter jets were shot down by place-to-15 missiles. In response to this report, the spokesperson of the Indian Air Force did not flatly deny it, but instead gave a rather ambiguous non-response. This attitude stands in stark contrast to India's high-profile display of wreckage comparison charts and the release of Rafale formation communication recordings. The truth of the matter is for the audience to judge. The nature of this conflict has transcended the military realm and evolved into a meticulously planned cognitive battle. India's choice to obscure the actual combat results is a strategic calculation on multiple fronts. Firstly, it aims to limit the political damage at home. The Modi government finds itself mired in the quagmire of elections and needs to project a strong strategic deterrence image to maintain public support. If the specific combat results were made public, it might trigger questions about the effectiveness of military spending. After all, if a Rafale, which costs $240 million per unit, was indeed shot down, the opposition parties would surely seize the opportunity to launch attacks. Secondly, it's about managing its international image. In 2025, a crucial year for India's bid to secure a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council, excessive emphasis on battle losses would undermine its status as a regional power. Thirdly, it's about protecting the domestic military-industrial chain. If India were to admit that a Rafale was shot down, it would deal a heavy blow to the subsequent orders of France's Dassault Aviation and even shake the legitimacy of the Indian military's imported from all over the world equipment system. In contrast, Pakistan's release of its battle report is a textbook example of a cognitive battle. It provides the exact time of engagement down to the minute, geographical coordinates, and recording evidence. It even uses the combination of J-10C and Place 15 to build the myth of Chinese-made equipment. This strategy of constructing credibility with detailed information delivers a crushing blow compared to India's empty claims. This conflict reveals two harsh realities. First, the technological gap is irreversible. Despite India's huge investment in importing Rafale fighter jets, it lacks the support of a complete combat system and has been countered by Pakistan's systematic air defense. Second, the struggle for information hegemony has reached a fever pitch. India attempts to maintain strategic ambiguity by not revealing the truth, but high-definition satellite imagery and open-source intelligence in the digital age are rendering traditional propaganda tactics increasingly ineffective. For the audience, the key to seeing through the fog lies in asking 3 questions about consistency. Is the official statement consistent with the physical evidence? Are the tactical logic and technical parameters consistent? Is the domestic narrative consistent with the international response? When India has no wreckage to back up its claims and avoids third-party verification, the combat results it claims are more likely to be just rhetorical devices in press releases. The skies over South Asia have never been calm. Next time, perhaps we should rely on satellite images rather than press conferences to seek the truth. After all, on the battlefield of cognitive warfare, the silent radar data is more persuasive than passionate speeches. That's all for today's program. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Every click from you means a great deal to me. See you next time.